Most UI libraries are too big for an AI to read at once. Tailwind's docs alone are hundreds of thousands of tokens. So when you ask an AI to build you a button component, it guesses. It hallucinates class names, invents props that don't exist, and confidently produces code that breaks the moment you run it. That's not an AI problem. That's a context problem. And someone just solved it in a surprisingly elegant way. Ilha is a UI component library that was deliberately engineered to fit inside a single AI context window. The entire thing. Every component, every prop, every variant small enough that an LLM can read the whole framework in one pass and then generate code that actually works. Let's start with what it actually does, because the demo is where this gets interesting. You open your AI assistant, Cursor, Claude, ChatGPT, whatever you're using, you paste in the Ilha context, and then you just describe the UI you want. A dashboard with a sidebar, a card grid, a modal with form inputs. And the AI generates it correctly. Not approximately correctly. Not mostly correctly, with three things you have to fix. Correctly. Because for the first time, the model isn't guessing at the API. It read the whole thing. The components follow a consistent, minimal design language. We're talking buttons, inputs, cards, modals, navigation elements, the building blocks you reach for in every project. The library is written to be readable. Not just by humans, but by machines. The naming is predictable. The prop structure is flat. There are no abstraction layers that make sense to a senior dev but confuse a transformer model trying to reconstruct intent from token patterns. What surprised me most was how opinionated the sizing decision is. This wasn't an accident. The team made explicit trade-offs: fewer components, less customization surface, zero redundancy, all in service of one constraint. Does it fit in a context window? If yes, ship it. If no, cut it. Now let's be honest about what it does not do, because that list matters. Ilha is not Shadcn. It's not MUI. It's not Radix. If you need a full-featured, enterprise-grade, every possible variant component system, this will frustrate you. The component count is intentionally small. Complex interactive patterns like data tables with sorting, virtualized lists, or deeply nested navigation trees, those aren't here yet. And the customization story is limited. You're not going to theme this thing into a bespoke design system for a Fortune 500 client. Also worth saying clearly, this only helps if you're using AI to write your UI code. If you're writing every line yourself, the context window argument doesn't apply to you. This is a tool built for a specific workflow. Human plus AI, with AI doing the component generation. Outside that workflow, the core value proposition disappears. And right now, the ecosystem is thin. There's no storybook integration, no Figma kit, no accessibility audit trail. These are real gaps for production teams. But here's the thing: the future case for this approach is actually stronger than the present one. As AI coding assistants get more capable, the bottleneck isn't the model's intelligence anymore. It's the quality of what the model can see. Garbage in, garbage out. If your framework is too large to fit in context, the model is always working with partial information. Ilha's bet is that a smaller, perfectly legible library will consistently outperform a larger, partially visible one even as context windows expand. Because even a 200k token window gets polluted with other things: your codebase, your prompts, your conversation history. The framework that fits cleanly is always going to have an advantage. The realistic near-future use case is project scaffolding. You start a new app, you give your AI the Ilha context once, and every UI component it generates for the next hour is coherent, consistent, and correct. No drift. No hallucinated props. That's a real productivity unlock for solo developers and small teams moving fast. There's also a meta point here that's worth sitting with. Ilha is evidence of a new category of library design. Not designed for humans to read in docs. Not designed for tree-shaking performance. Designed for machine comprehension. That's a design constraint no one was optimizing for 2 years ago. And it's going to produce a lot of interesting tools. So why does Ilha exist at all? Because the current AI coding experience is quietly broken in a way that most people blame on the model. You ask an AI to build a UI. It builds something that looks right in the preview but fails in your actual project because it referenced a component API it half remembered from training data. You fix it. You ask again. It drifts back to the wrong version. You spend 20 minutes debugging something that should have taken 2. And you conclude that AI just isn't reliable for UI work yet. But the problem wasn't the model. The problem was that the model never had complete, accurate information about the tool it was supposed to use. Ilha is an attempt to fix the information problem instead of waiting for a smarter model. That's a systems thinking move. And it's the right move. If you're building with AI tooling right now, and especially if you're deploying those tools on real infrastructure, the next episode goes deep on something that connects directly to this: how to structure your AI project so the components that work stay working as your codebase scales. Subscribe so you don't miss it.